Episode 10 of Jellyfish Can't Swim in the Night. What a fantastic episode, just visually and directing wise. Like, so many fantastic shots in this entire episode. That whole bit with Kim chasing around Meadow was just way too good. Like, it was just a really awesome, like, horror comedy, like, I don't know, just twisted kind of thing, but it was all like in jest. It just all kind of mixed together really well. But yeah, overall, like, visually, this show was just way too good. They didn't keep any of these shots like standard for too long. It was just constantly shifting around, like, oh, we're over here, and a cup gets set down in front of the screen. It's just beautiful overall. Anyways, that aside, can we talk about Kim almost got NTR'd. I guess it wouldn't be she got NTR'd. Kano almost got NTR'd by Meadow with Kim. Like, going over there and just doing the whole idol thing and trying to steal her away, but it didn't work. She was able to keep herself from getting swept up by Meadow, which Meadow, yes, she's super cute, so that's very difficult to do, but she pulled it off. But yeah, honestly, I think there's so much to really talk about in this episode, and I think the one thing that kind of stands out that I can get out of the way right off the bat is sort of don't like Mahiru right now. I really don't like Mahiru. Now, again, I'm not excusing what happened in the previous episode, and it does seem like Mahiru is sort of... It didn't seem like she was angry at Kano. That was made clear when Kiwi talked to her, and this is my prediction in the previous episode, was that Kiwi was going to talk to Mahiru. Mahiru was going to be like, yeah, I know she didn't mean it. It didn't say that. It didn't come out and say that, but it does seem like Mahiru does at least not hate Kano. And I don't expect her to hate her over that. I mean, it was a bad comment, but I don't think that she's going to suddenly hate Kano. So it's not confirming or denying my speculation there on where they can go. But they did confirm in this episode that they did make an announcement that they were going to release a song. And again, Mahiru decided to throw that away. She decided to leave them when they had that project already set to do her own project. I think that's kind of scummy. And it really does kind of cement it more in this episode because Mahiru doesn't want to get involved. Oh, well, she's quitting? Well, I don't want to get involved. Anything I say will be a lie. And it's like, well, but you can still try to help the situation because you're sort of involved with the situation. And again, not only have you not decided to do the project that you've committed to and do a different project that you're going to get paid for and get more attention, but additionally, the situation's falling apart for the group that you basically just left hanging. I don't know. It just felt like she was just kind of sitting off the side going, I'm doing my own thing, and I'm just going to ignore everything that's going on around me. It just like, it's not that she's a terrible person, don't get me wrong, but it was just kind of scummy. Like, in a way that it was kind of scummy. But anyways, that aside, let's get into the episode proper. There's so much to get into here. I think the best thing that I think was portrayed in this episode was, while Meadow feels like a nasty person, at least they did a good job kind of showing that she is broken. And yes, she is Kano. Like, this episode literally cemented that the two of them are the same. At least Meadow thinks that she's very much so the same as Kano. We're both doing the same thing. And again, even though it seems like she's a scummy person, and it gets into her mind about how scummy she is, at least it has her acknowledge, I was doing things that were good, right? Like, I was wanted, right? It just feels like she's so broken. It just feels like she is so broken. So I feel like we can do something really cool with her character going forward. But obviously, next episode looks like it's going to be on Kiwi. The ending of the episode looked like it was obviously setting up that it's Kiwi's time. It's time to get into Kiwi. I don't know if that text was from an old friend, if it's from a relative, or what. But somebody that she knows, somebody that she has a contact with, that's from her past probably, that has, even though she looked like she was going to accept it, like, yeah, looks like the cat's out of the bag, knew that was coming. It was like that sudden of, oh crap, now she realized people that she knows is now going to know. And that's what terrifies her. So it's really interesting. I'm looking forward to that. But anyways, let's get into the episode proper, opening up with, yes, the whole aftermath of things. Kiwi, not only is Kano needing some time off, but she's also literally, like, leaving her job to do whatever they want. Like, she's literally skipping out on her job, which is nice, yes, because Kiwi and Kim are stepping up. They're allowing her to have that time off, but it's still like, but you still have a job. Like, you're not going to even go to your job. I like how at some point, Honami is like, yeah, you guys are fired. Like, the boss is literally like, you guys are fired, you can't do this. But even though it seemed like later on Kiwi was still doing deliveries, but she did buy that herself for their project. So maybe she's not has a job there, but she might have a job there. But yeah, they're trying to make sure that they have some time there. And I like that Kim is like in the midst of all this stuff is literally like, Kiwi, please don't keep that to yourself. Like, please speak your mind. What's going on? Like, don't keep it to yourself. But yeah, the concern there is that Kano is giving up, which was odd because Kim says that despite the fact that there was all that controversy, Nanotan is strong, Nanoka, because she never abandoned her fans. Did she not? Like, did she not abandon her fans? Like, I'm not saying that she's abandoning her fans by leaving the industry after that controversy, but it's not like she's doing things for her fans either. A lot of people, a lot of fans besides Kim, seen that as abandonment. But Kim, thankfully, was able to find Kano. But most of the other fans are not going to be able to find her. So she technically abandoned them. But again, Kim's not going to see it that way. But yeah, then we get a brief little shot of Meadow. And Meadow is essentially looking into the information around Kano, which I thought was kind of interesting. At first, I thought it was, oh wait, is Meadow actually the one that's actually posting this stuff about Kano? But it doesn't seem that way. It looks like she's looking at a different account that's showing information about her. So it at least shows that she is looking into Kano. She has some interest in what's going on with Kano. Again, I don't think it's necessarily that she cares for Kano, but I do think that the two of them, based on this episode, do kind of see each other as equals. Like, they both have the same thing they're going for. But yes, that all goes into Kim running into Meadow and then stalking her all over the place. Again, all of those shots, like suddenly she's in this dark cafe and then suddenly out of nowhere, Kim just appears in the window. Got this crazy look. She runs off. She goes to the karaoke place. Nobody will find me here. No, I know you come here all the time to do your vocal exercises, so I know you're here. Like, she's like some super stalker. Starts blabbing on. And again, a great little shot of Mello, like, just coming towards the camera, looping around, and then sneaking by. Just perfection in animation, by the way. But yeah, turns this whole thing where she wants to talk to her. She says, I know her from Jelly. And yeah, that's where we get into, again, how Mello and Kano are technically the same, which we got a hint of that. It seemed like Mello is obsessed with Kano's mom, and Kano is obsessed with trying to, fit into this mold for her mother. And so what Mello comes to a conclusion from that is that, yes, we're the same. We're both going for the same thing. And it was also interesting to get into the idea that Mello herself doesn't like to sing. She's bad at all this stuff, but this mom, Yukine, she made her shine. She put me on the stage and she made me shine. So I made it my whole purpose to being sustenance for her. All my being will be for her, which is kind of what Kano was doing. And I think it's really because Kano was wanting to do things for her mother. Like, she wanted to be that star for her mother. She wanted to support her mother that way. And that's, yes, technically the same thing that Mello's doing. But I think it's more of an idea that Kano herself, she was talented. She was just fitting into a mold for her mother's sake. Mello didn't have anything, but Yukine made her shine. So obviously she's going to want to do everything for her. Like, I was broken, I was useless, and then you made me purposeful. And that does technically feed into what it's revealing in here, which we already knew, which is the idea that she became this online personality, this YouTuber that was exposing people, is because she wanted to do everything for Yukine. Which makes me kind of wonder, at some point, will Yukine, or maybe she already knows, will Yukine eventually find out that Mello did that? And what will that make her think? Will it make her go, you did good for me? We're not going to talk about it anymore, but good job. Don't do that no more, because if it gets back to us, it's bad, but good job. Like, we're going to keep it hush-hush that was a good thing, but I'm not going to publicly state that it's a good thing. It kind of makes me wonder that she would do that, because, again, it's all about that success. It's all about getting to that point. But yeah, it was great. And then even though Kim tries to talk her out of it, I think it's one of those things where there's going to be this moment where I think Kano needs to realize, and it seems like she's realizing that yes, that was your purpose before, but it's changed, right? Like, you were all about your mother. You were wanting to be seen by your mother. Again, what she told Mahiru is literally, I'm doing this to get back at them. They shunned me, they kicked me out of the industry, and now I want them to love me, not knowing who I am, so I can stick it to them. But it was really, what it's pointing out here is not just really that, it was really wanting to be noticed by her mother. At least that's what Mello says. Mello says that she wanted to be noticed by her mother. Wanted to catch her mother's attention. Even now, she's saying that she wants to do this for the fans, wants to do this for attention of the fans, getting to the 100,000. Oh yeah, that's the same. Mello says, no, oh yeah, she's doing the same thing as always. She's not going after the fans. She wants to get noticed by her mom. Still to this point, she wants to get noticed by her mom. And it seems like it kind of is, it is cementing that. Because even Kano later on acknowledges it. Yeah, the reason I was doing it was dumb. And I'm trying to figure myself out. I'm not sure if I want to sing anymore. Because I realized that what I was going after was kind of dumb. Which is odd because it does seem like at some point she did start singing for Mahiru. And I think that's probably what she's going to, I guess that's what she's going to cement now. Whereas before, yes, she was saying it was for this other purpose. It turned into Mahiru, but she never actually said that. And then at some point, now that she has this realization right now, oh wow, I just realized I've been doing this for a dumb reason. I don't know if I want to do it anymore. Through the actions of Kim and everybody, she's suddenly going, you know, I kind of do want to sing more. And I think it's going to turn into a thing where I'm going to sing for Mahiru. I want to grab Mahiru's attention. And so it does kind of make me wonder, is this going to be turn into one of the things where Mahiru is going to be doing something for Yukine, and then at some point Kano sings to try to capture her and bring her back. We need you. Come back to us. And she drops what she's doing and goes back to them. I don't know. Again, I don't have too much expectations for Mahiru right now. Again, I don't hate her. I'm not saying she's a bad person. I'm just not really sure I follow her mindset here because it just really feel like she cut and run. And it's kind of wrong for everybody else that she was a part of. There is kind of this back and forth between what Mahiru was doing before and what she's doing now. Yes, she's doing this to grow. She needs to get out from underneath Kano and do her own thing. But she's just going under a different umbrella now. Again, pretty much Kano says the same thing, like mother, like daughter. I was using her, my mom used me, I used Mahiru, and now Mahiru's being used by her mom. It's like, it's just this big vicious cycle. So it's not like she's going to find anything new there. Again, like everything the mom said in the previous episode is literally what Kano said. They're so much alike. I forget where I was going with that. Anyways, yes, at some point, Kiwi goes over and runs into Baba. And apparently, Baba has went from being a street side idol to now being, I forget what they call him, the gorging tuber. She's become a gorging tuber. There's like the whole thing of like on YouTube where people just sit there and consume billions of calories on the camera and become bloated. And it's sad because Kiwi literally points it out. You're going to gain weight from this. It's okay. I don't care. Like, she's literally going to let herself go. And it's like, I don't know. I've seen way too many cases where that goes in a really bad direction. So I hope she does seem like she's very active. I mean, that was the whole thing with before. Like, she was eating a lot of stuff and it was a lie that she was constantly, but she wasn't gaining weight. She was actually moving a lot. So I'm hoping that she doesn't lose herself there because that's a really bad direction to go. And I've seen it happen way too many times, or at least reports of it happening. Not like I actually look into that stuff. It just, it unsettles me. Anytime I've ever seen a clip of those types of YouTubers where they're just gorging themselves, it makes me sick. I can't watch it. It was really cute that at some point they had one of the friends of Mahiru did contact her and say, you know, they were excited about the fact that that's her and that she got 100,000. I think that was one of the girls that originally called out her art, and that's why she decided to scratch it out, if I remember correctly, which is kind of one of those, yeah, great that you acknowledge me now kind of moments, but still, it was a nice little kind of thing where, yes, whereas before she hid that, now suddenly her friends know and they like it. Like that she's successful. I don't know if they ever mentioned that she likes her art. But yeah, they decided to do a live stream, and yeah, they decided to collab with Baba. And so she gorged herself with meatball. No, it's Kurage. Gorged herself with Kurage before they announced that they're going to be disbanding. Which, that whole scene, oof, that Kim... I'm glad Kim doesn't sing, but I do acknowledge that was a very beautiful scene because despite the fact that Kim is a horrible singer, at least it got the point across. And it was like this whole thing where they are playing the song, but it's only the tune because obviously Kano's not going to do the vocals for it. They play the song, the actual melody, and then at some point Kim's just like, I can't do this. I can't let this happen. Grabs the microphone, starts singing to her, like, just top of her lungs. I don't know how you have this whole situation where over here Miko's like, hey, Baba's like literally like, hey, Kiwi, do that. And then Kiwi's like, oh, I know what you're talking about. Rush over to Kano's place and stick a phone in front of her face. It's like, we just like glance at each other. We both know exactly what we're going to do. But yeah, she rushes over to Kano, sticks the phone in front of her. And I guess she got on speakerphone and tell everybody, yeah, I don't know if I can still sing. Because again, technically at this point, Kano feels like she lost her purpose. And again, I think that's really because, yes, initially she was singing for her mother, and it seems like she's lost that purpose. But at the same time, it also feels like she did replace it with Mahiru, but Mahiru's no longer there. And I think there is a struggle that she's having with that. I'm kind of puzzled there's even a struggle here because it really does feel like Kano has already shifted to sing for Mahiru. So it's interesting. Yeah, and technically Kim just like loudly confessing that she loves Kano, and for her to take responsibility. There is an element of Kim throughout this entire series that she's an oddball. Like, she is super odd. And she's typically the archetype in anime that I don't like. She's that overly obsessive, like she's in that category that I find like Fujoshi characters to be in, where they're just too much. Like, they're just too loud. They're like a yandere character, but they're not violent. They're like obsessive with somebody, like crazy obsessive with somebody, and they're overly loud. And so I typically don't like characters like Kim, but she just kind of works. Like, there's a lot of times where I'm like, okay, Kim, dial it down like 5 points. Like the beginning of this episode, dial it down. But she just does the dorkiest, cutest things that I just kind of forgive her for it, like immediately after. Like, again, her technically confessing on a live stream that she loves Kano, like literally loves Kano, and that she's screaming that she wants her to take responsibility for falling in love with her. It's like, you take my composed music and you turn it to something brighter. Take responsibility for me falling in love with you. It's literally like, you're my idol, so you need to remain my idol. You need to do the work too. It was cute though. Like, it was super cute. Like, she just doesn't want to lose this. Like, and it was kind of echoed in the previous scenes where you had Kiwi literally telling Kim, "Oh, she says she wanted to disband. Well, she's a leader, so we have to." Like, I can't argue it. If that's her choice, we have no choice. And Kim's like, Kim gets frustrated. Like, you're letting this off too easy. How can you be so mature? I can't do that. I can't let this go like you can. And Kiwi's like, it's so sad. Kiwi's like, it's not like I want to either. Like, it's not like I'm okay with this. Kiwi's just putting on, yes, the mature, but the logical face. If this is what's happening, you can't really do anything about it. If that's what she wants to do, you can't fight her for it. But Kim's looking at it from an emotional perspective that she can't let that go. And that's technically what leads them to actually getting Kano back, is Kim emotionally blowing up and saying, "I don't want you to go, take responsibility, and keep singing my music." It was a good little mixture there. I liked it. But yeah, that all leads to the last scene where, yes, Nox has been exposed. Nox has been exposed. The VTuber Nox has been exposed. Somebody figured out that this cute girl, this super cute girl in the background here, is probably Nox. I like that. It's like the entire series has pretty much been pointing out the idea that Kiwi is super cute. Yeah, she is super cute. But yeah, it looks like this next episode is definitely going to get into her. And that's interesting because when she sees the articles, and everybody's had it happen to them, they're already pointing out, yeah, this is Kano, she's Tachibana. We found her. This over here, Mahiru, yeah, that's probably Yoru. This is the same person. And then over here, Kiwi. They finally figured this out, which I don't know why it took them so long, because I mean, yes, Nox was technically introducing them on her live streams, but they were in the same room together talking about their project, and they had this many people in the group. They did a performance on the stage. It's not too much of a stretch that this is Kiwi, this is Nox, but they posted it. Now, the interesting thing here, and what I kind of found fascinating, is that she immediately goes, "Oh, I was expecting this." Like, she knew this was coming. Eventually, somebody's going to figure out that I am Nox, and it's going to be exposed. Me as a VTuber, which this is her thing, which I think is a massive growing point for her. And I kind of mentioned this previously with her actually doing a voice call with the members of Jelly without using her VTuber model. When she's in that room, she has to be her VTuber model. That's her introvertness. That's her when she's a NEET, or not a NEET, but a shut-in. That's her shut-in mode. And so it was kind of this moving out of that when she decided to even go out with them, do a stayover, but additionally also doing calls without it. And now it's gotten to a point now where she's okay with people knowing who she is. She's willing to face reveal that her VTuber model to herself, which is a huge thing for somebody like her. And so it seems like she's okay with it. Like, I've seen this coming. Here we go. That's fine. It seemed like she was fine with it. It wasn't until somebody texted her that it seems like she knows. Now suddenly she's not happy about it. And again, I think it was one of those things where publicly everybody knows it's fine. All these people that I've never seen their faces, they'll know my face, whatever. But now somebody she knows from her past knows. And that's different. It's different when it's somebody so close to her. So that's going to be the struggle. I mean, me personally, like, yeah, if somebody see my, like, when I first did YouTube, it didn't bother me too much. But yes, every now and then whenever I talk to somebody that I know in real life, like a relative or a past friend, and they go, hey, I seen you on YouTube, it's a little bit different. Like, it feels a little different. It feels a little different because I think the main thing is that when I talk to somebody, say on Discord, on Talk to Spirit Discord, they know me by this. They know me by this person on this camera. Whereas somebody that I know in real life, that I've known for many, many years, who are now discovering that I've been on YouTube, they know a past personality of me. Because, yeah, obviously, I act a little different when I'm on camera for YouTube than when I am in real life. So there's that distinction there, and it's probably shocking to them. At the same time, it's hard to kind of navigate that with somebody that you're talking to. That's the best way that I can explain it. It's kind of a deeper subject I can make a whole video on, but that's what that is. But yeah, other than that, we had a brief shot, which I'm thinking is probably Kano's father, this fishbowl and this guy inside of a room. He looked a little bit too young, but when I looked up close, you can kind of see that little scruff on his chin. And yes, the past shot that we got of him wasn't his scruffy chin, so I'm assuming it's the same person. I'm not sure why they decided to show him randomly. I'm guessing they're probably trying to show how he's discovering what everybody else is discovering, that this jelly person is Tachibana, his daughter, who knows. And that's pretty much it. I think the coolest thing in here, though, was definitely the whole situation with Mello. Because despite this conversation where she says, I do everything for Yukine, she's, basically comparing herself to Kano. She's saying that we're both going after, supporting Yukine, and seemingly showing how weak she is and trying to pull Kano into that same situation. I found it interesting that she literally says, we are weak because we're nothing. We have nothing. We're nothing without Yukine. And our whole purpose is to feed Yukine what she wants. And even though it seems like Kano's doing her own thing, she's still trying to catch Yukine's attention. She's just like me. She's useless. Like, it almost feels like Mello is trying to, like, justify her own self by saying Kano's just like me. And she's almost like she doesn't want to be alone. And what hurts, and again, what makes me really feel like this character can have some really good development that I'm really intrigued by, is when it cuts to the next scene, Mello's saying, oh, Nanaka found friends. But then she starts to think about herself and how empty herself is. Cuts to her talking about her friends, which is people online commenting to her YouTube channel where she calls people out and says that I have purpose there. It's this whole thing where it feels like Mello as a person is trying to find purpose, and even if she can't find it with Yukine, she's trying to find it in random people saying, yeah, you exposed that group. Good job. I did something good. They like what I did. Please keep commenting to me. It is a kind of a self-destructive mindset that is technically present in social media and whatnot. People just feed off of posting comments and stuff on social media, exposing people, posting and blasting people for the sake of getting people to comment to them and like their clips, all for the sake of this self-validation. And it's destructive and it's toxic. And I think she's realizing that. I think she's realizing that I don't have purpose. I did this and people comment and I feel great about it. But Nanaka, she actually has friends. She's starting to realize that we're so much the same, but you've found real life friends that actually care for you. And I have commenters that comment on my videos exposing people, and they're not going to be at my side when I'm in trouble. It's a massive difference there. And it almost feels like she's in denial there for a minute. Like, right, I did a good thing by posting that. But I think she's realizing that it's empty. And again, I'm super interested in it. Like, again, I'm going to still say it. She's nasty. She's a nasty girl. But I am very curious to see what they do with her character going forward. But anyways, I think that's it. I think that's it in this episode. A lot to talk about. But yeah, definitely Mello kissing Kim was out of nowhere. She was trying. I almost was going to make a video of like, this is why idols don't kiss their fans, because then they start stalking them everywhere. Just show a bunch of shots of Kim stalking her. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed this video. As always, if you did, make sure that like button down below. If you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe to the channel so you can get all my content. If you like this content and you want to support the channel more, I have Patreon link, tips, links, or thanks membership button down below. Greatly appreciate what it does. Y'all take care.